What's going on, everybody? This is James Grandmaster Facts Boyce, and you're here for another Facts Project review. Today, we're going to be covering Bitter Root, the next movement, issue 2. Of course, done by the great David F. Walker, Sanford Greene, and Chuck Brown, the original creators of the Bitter Root series. Coloring done by Matt Herms, and lettering done by Hassan Otsmane-Elhoau. Now, if we remember correctly, that this is particularly a time jump from the original series. The first initial 15 issues of this series was done during the Harlem Renaissance years, around the 1920s. And now we're doing a time jump, basically another 35 years later, smack dab into the Civil Rights Movement in 1964 in the Mississippi Delta. Now, when we got into this first issue, there was a bunch of freedom riders coming from New York City that were traveling down to Mississippi to join into a bunch of protests that were happening in Mississippi. And that particular bus, of course, came under attack by the mysterious Jinoo, disguised as bigots doing roadblocks in the roads, traveling down to Mississippi, basically murdering and executing everybody on this bus except for 3 people who have now scattered into the woods. And just so happens, the Sangerye family have pretty much called a plan into action, whether it's been Blink, Meriah, Cotton, Enoch, Sandra, and Joe, who are all hunting these Jinoos down here in the South. But they're not getting the same type of warm welcome and reception that they've gotten because they are in Mississippi. As a Governor Bobby Lee Garnett, who is definitely a resemblance of a Jefferson Davis character, who is basically just pitching and yelling, segregation forever, integration never, to his entire crowd of followers. And Meriah, of course, is trying to investigate this case with the help of her government task force, and she is trying to lead this investigation, but of course, is always the chance of her running into, of course, a lot of prejudice amongst some of the agents that are working with her. And better yet, she's not getting any type of help from local law enforcement because she is in Mississippi. But necessarily, the biggest thing that has come to light, of course, with this series, and what has been a constant, powerful tool throughout all the issues and the entire story of Bitter Root, and that's the destruction of hate in all forms, physically, emotionally, and mentally. So a couple things pop up if you've never read the first 15 issues. One happens to be the fact of the Inzondo disease. This is where humans are transformed into monsters as their soul is twisted by the pain of loss and grief. Now, this has happened to, this is currently happening to Joe, one of the members of the Sangerye family, who is literally just transforming into a monster himself, which is almost more powerful than the Jinoo itself, but it's just the destruction of all the loss and the pain that they've had. And it's almost a transformation that can't be, I'm going to say that there's no antidote to. So inside of this issue, all while this is happening, all in this investigation, and literally during the fight with these Jinoos, you see Joe transform into one of these Inzondo characters. And it's almost like he can't break free of the anger and the hate that is basically possessing his body, to where we see another member from the original Bitter Root series that mysteriously pops up, a former friend and ally who at one point was not even an ally, and that is Dr. Sylvester, who and is another person that was infected with the Inzondo virus, this disease, and he's come full speed in this like 10 sci-fi looking spacesuit with the helmet and everything like that. So if we remember back from the original series, you know, Dr. Sylvester had lost his wife. His wife died, and necessarily that grief and that loss he couldn't deal with, and then this overstruck hate just started to build within him. You could see it, and it started to show its face in the series. He started to grow a disdain for the Sangerye family, and to see him back at the end of this particular issue definitely tells me where this story is going to go forward. But looking forward to the rest of these issues. Now, note, this is a 5-issue miniseries. Do I wish it was more? Absolutely. So I always implore everybody, when there's pre-orders out, make sure that you're getting those. That way you get multiple copies, second printings, first, third printings, so on and so forth, so that we're able to get as many issues and copies of the run and possibly push the series forward into its latter issues if they want to basically make more after issue 5. If it's doing particularly well, this is what happens in comics. Once you start to build up the momentum of a series going forth, continue the story. I had a chance to talk to David Walker. There is a podcast that me and him just had a conversation about, mainly about his newest book on Kickstarter called The Death of Bobby Hart. But we also got a chance to talk about this particular series, Bitterroot: The Next Movement, and it's just something that's their baby. They understand that, and it's almost like a series that just won't go away. We actually talked about the fact that because of the correlation to centers, especially with Ryan Coogler, because he had at one point was going to produce a Bitterroot movie and have Regina King direct it. I feel like was going to be a catalyst for this going back. It just showed how much build up for this particular series that it almost got adapted. And the thing is, it can still be. So I'm looking forward to issue 3. Definitely looking forward to the series. As a construct of trying to rid the world of hate, I feel like Bitterroot has always been a landmark series, and I can't wait for more. So for everybody here on the channel, can't wait to see you guys next time.